Joseph started from the pit, and from the pit he became a slave, and from the slave he became a prisoner. But God was preparing for something very great, greater than he could imagine. Joseph's location kept changing, but God's hands upon his life never changed. When he was in prison, he met an influential man, and his gift was used to help this influential man. The man forgot him, but one day Pharaoh had a dream and needed an interpretation. So this influential man remembered Joseph. Astrologers came, experts came, magicians came to interpret the dream to Pharaoh. Though Pharaoh did not know the meaning of the dream, he knew one thing: they were all lying to him. So this influential man remembered Joseph and told the king about him. So Joseph was brought from the prison to the palace to come and interpret the dream to the king. The Bible says something very important in Genesis chapter 41, that Pharaoh was not alone in the palace when Joseph came to interpret the dream. He was surrounded by his lords. They all heard Joseph's interpretation, and despite the fact that Joseph was a foreigner, a slave, and a prisoner, they all accepted him, because when they heard him, they knew he was telling the truth. Joseph did not only interpret the dream, he gave an advice. 7 years of prosperity is coming. That will be followed by 7 years of poverty, this type of poverty that will swallow up the prosperity, that the people will never even know that they ever had plenty before. Despite the fact that he was a slave and he was just coming from the prison, both the Lord and Pharaoh accepted him, and he was immediately promoted to be a prime minister. The 7 years of plenty began, and everyone saw it. The lords were in the palace when Joseph gave the interpretation. They knew it was the truth. They believed it. Even if they did not believe that it was the truth, they saw it happening. Prosperity has come into the land. Everyone has gotten so much to eat, and they even had to throw away. But the crazy thing is, they never cared to plan for the years of poverty that was coming. Even the population of people in the land that did not hear the prophecy, they saw the storehouse being built. They should ask questions. Why are we saving up when we have so much plenty? But most people don't ask questions. Most people don't plan. They just live their lives to chances. And it's very dangerous. But this wasn't Joseph. Joseph had a plan. During the years of prosperity, people give very freely because it is easy to give when you are prosperous. But there is one thing Joseph was doing. Apart from building all the storehouses, Joseph was building stables for animals all over the country. And people were wondering, why was he building stables for animals? Large stables where he's going to stock up animals. But Joseph had a plan. The 7 years of prosperity ended, and now there was no food except with Joseph. Joseph had stored up all the storehouses with food. And so people had money at the beginning of the famine. They started coming to buy food. But the Bible recorded that at a point, they spent all their money. They don't have money anymore. That was when Joseph's plan came into action. If you have a plan, even during poverty, when everybody is crying that there's a casting down, you will be harvesting. That was when Joseph started the second harvest. Even during famine, Joseph was harvesting. He started harvesting their animals. He asked them to bring their animals in exchange for food. It was then they realized what he was building the stables for, where he will store up all the animals he was harvesting, even during poverty. After they gave up all their animals, they were still hungry. So Joseph started the second harvest. He harvested their lands and moved all of them away from their lands into a particular place in the city. He gave them food in place of their land, and when the food finished, that was when the major harvest started. He harvested them and their children as slaves in their own land to Pharaoh. So Joseph turned Pharaoh from king to a god. So this is the most dangerous part. Even after the 7 years of famine, people were supposed to breathe the air of relief, but they were still poor. No land, no food, no seed, no ownership. So Joseph gave them seed to be sown on the land that is now owned by Pharaoh, with a condition: 20% of your harvest now belong to the king. This is the warning. If you don't plan your life, someone else will plan it for you, and they will make you a slave on the land that God has given to you as your inheritance. They will turn system, job, people, institutions to God for you to be worshiping. And you'll be forced to confess with your own mouth that you and your children belongs to them. Joseph teaches us that preparation preserves destiny, planning preserves freedom. A wisdom today determines who rules your future. Think about that.